Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and I've got Side joining me as we watch this late game really heat up here, with Gath just going on a complete rampage.
Yeah, and the one thing that I do have to say for this turn to, hopefully ease some hearts is that it looks like Erythia is at least fighting back. Unlike the last turn of the Gath-Xibalba War, where Xibalba only pushed out into one of Gath's provinces, we at least see a couple instances where those yellow flags are actually going after the Gath ones.
Yeah, we don't see much in the way of Pangea flags, just a weird little trade here with, oh man.
Huh.
What?
It seems
He's
that
buying, he's buying Umbros off of Gartha?
I don't know if this is intentionally buying them, but it might be. Given how one-sided this was, I can't imagine it that Agartha had any serious thoughts that they could win this. But yeah,
I think
maybe he is paying for him.
I think he did. Oh god.
I mean,
Uh,
Pan can definitely use a bunch of stealthy elite units.
yeah, and it looks like he switched to doing his sickle farm with Agartha.
That makes sense. I mean, if you know you're going to be turning on Gath, you don't want to be giving Gath any more gems.
Yeah.
And Agartha is not exactly the most relevant player, so definitely a good person to give those gems to. Especially if Agartha is going to be basically serving as your vassal here and feeding
Right.
those. And death gems are actually pretty good because they turn into umbrals. That might actually be one of the most efficient ways of spending those death gems that Pangea is earning.
Yeah, Pan might be like, hey, you get, let's just do this thing where you turn all the death gems into umbrals and you give half to me. So,
Or give all to
um,
me. I mean,
yeah, it
given
could be.
Agartha's position, it might just be terms of vassalage.
Right. It's like the Vichy regime in France or something, but,
Well, I mean, any vassalage, right? Like the thing that you
right.
do as a vassal is you provide troops to your liege lord.
That is true. That is true. All right. I got a message from Gath here. So one of the ACs went up, and luckily it was cast by Ashmedai, not our goddess, who already holds 2 global, so it'll be easy to dispel with Mind Hunt if needed. But of course, Pan has a Soulless gifted Nature's Bounty caster. Still, it's annoying for him, even if he expected it. Another expected thing was Pan canceling our NAP 4. Okay, so that's good. So Pan has decided. They have said, we are going to fight into Gath.
Yes, as they needed to do.
Right. So the viewers may rejoice because the dreaded Pan-Gath alliance is finally over.
After
Well, it had
90
been over,
turns.
right? Yeah. After we basically made everybody else almost irrelevant. Well, it's been over for a while now because we've been kind of in a Cold War state, but we will, but not.
He means now. That's just a typo.
Oh, but now it will become hot. Yeah. The plan going forward is capturing the Gaia throne during these 4 turns and being ready to repel Pan and Xibalba while going for the Luck Misfortune thrones. We decided to delay capturing more DoDs until the war starts so they are not scouted by a harpy, because the surplus effect is worth much more than 40 extra or the surprise effect is worth much more than 40 extra DoDs a few turns earlier.
I don't even know if that's true, because 40 DoDs is a lot of DoDs.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, the surprise effect is worth winning the game, though. So,
True. Yeah, if they don't have an effective counter for it and that gets you the thrones for free, then absolutely
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. It's not like they're going anywhere, so we still capture them when the war starts. Since our tests show we can do 80 to 90 in one go.
Oh, are
Super
they
easy.
stacking them up and not patrolling them out? Because that
Oh,
would
you
be
didn't know
clever.
that? You didn't know that? Yeah, dude. I think what they're doing is they're patrolling it with things without spirit sight to get scouts and stuff. And then when they're ready to capture, they have the proper army with a bunch of spirit sight patrollers.
Yes, with the long dead.
Right,
Yep. Okay.
because when they're doing 40 or 50 in a turn, they can't do 40 or 50 casts. So they have the guys sitting there casting it every turn.
Right.
They only
Okay.
yeah. All right. Message from Xibalba. Lucid should have read my message to Ami last turn. Got lost in Hydra's checking the turn. But Team Xibalba called that Pan took down Mother Oak on purpose of doing Gift of Health or Gift of Nature's Bounty, with us thinking the latter being more likely, and ding ding, we were right. Fun times ahead. The only downside is that it took down our Blood Vortex, and we were hoping to get some sweet demon events from it. We have enough slaves to max cast it again, but I'm not sure we're going to give it a shot without Diplo changing again.
Yeah, the hard part of this stage in the game is honestly just challenging global slots.
Yeah.
And also, a
I
max cast Blood Vortex will not pay for itself, right? Like that takes
no,
yeah,
yeah.
a bunch of turns.
I wish they'd shared more about their thinking and allying with Gath. Nobody's mentioned the possibility of 3v1ing Gath, and I can't figure out why. I mean, on one hand, it's the classic Astral Corruption versus Nexus alliance,
Yeah, because
right?
that's
So like,
I think there's two reasons for it. So one is that Nexus is scary, right? There just is that psychological effect of this is a game-winning spell, right? So like
yeah,
they want to be allied against it because they think like if the war drags on that they'll get outscaled by the Nexus. The second thing is that I don't think that they realize how mobile Gath is with the horrors. So they probably
right.
don't see Gath's like ability to win as being quite as imminent, right? So like I think that they'd be much more like ready to switch sides when Gath is on like 6 thrones. They might even like wait until Gath is like at the verge of having 7, just because I don't think that they get that Gath can like suddenly end the game the way that they actually can.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I also, I mean, if
No,
they
I also
kill
agree with the conventional
Erythia,
power thing though. That
yeah,
like
yeah,
Gath
yeah,
is just conventionally powerful enough that it might take a 3v1 to beat them.
yeah.
Like
Well,
I agree with
the
that
thing
too.
I'm not even saying like they have to choose that. I'm just surprised nobody's talking about it. Like we get this nice message. Zabalba took the time to write us, and I'd love it if he would have shared his thoughts on diplomacy some. Message from Erythia. I might have tried to fly a bit too close to the sun with Arcane Nexus collaboration together with Pan. Not sure how I will come out of a war with both Gath and Zabalba, but I also have so many mages, so maybe I can do something.
Well, that's a relevant myth.
Um,
I mean, Erythia is the Greek city of invention.
yeah, that's true. Okay, got some battles here. So this is another life after death conversion. Something that you can no longer do in Dominion 6.
Oh, I'd heard about
Arcane
that. Yeah.
Astral Corruption is going to be kind of shitty now because you can't really avoid paying the tax. Um,
I guess there's like the native mindless casters, but there just aren't that many of them. Yeah.
yeah, there really aren't.
On the other hand, I will say that the whole life after death conversion thing was like kind of getting to the point where it's just the Soromashian retirement plan. Like there's a bunch of nations where you just kind of do it just to cut upkeep because it's so cheap. So
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
understand nerfing it.
I don't mind it as a change. I would appreciate Illwinter maybe adding in some mindless commanders you can summon.
Or
Maybe not
making
every
like
magic path gets them, but it'd be nice to have ways that astral corruption didn't suck so much.
yeah, I would
I
like
guess.
an astral version of Lichcraft, honestly.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
like a golem transfer or whatever, where you put your mind into a robot.
yeah, that would be super cool.
Mostly just
Um
like you're saying, so that you have these alternatives that give you ways of playing around astral corruption. And like there's a bunch of things where like having a mindless caster is like actually really valuable.
yeah. I mean, if you have a blood nation, they're basically always going to be able to keep like a powerful blood nation. They can basically always keep astral corruption up. Um And now there's not in Dominion 6. I can't think of any good ways. There is the Void Pattern Labyrinth, which is supposed to stop horror attacks, but I don't think it's enough that you would still put hammers and magic boosters on guys forging stuff. But I haven't played around with it enough. But anyway, I guess you can empower golems.
Yeah, but that's insanely expensive.
Yeah, yeah. A good example of this is actually my Ubar game because Astral Corruption goes up there. And I was trying to like have sultans with like their crazy stats with rings of returning on them, cast flames from the sky. They just get yeeted by doom horrors. Like it's really, really hard to play around. And like if you're gonna be like, oh, the late game's always with blood powers is always gonna have astral corruption, and
Yeah,
you
then
just have to
you want
survive
more
it.
ways
That's
to
not
play
a
around it.
yeah, that's not a fun meta. It's just like, hey, the end game's gonna suck.
So yeah, they did lose this fight, but I am happy that they are at least moving stuff out.
Oh,
This is perhaps not the. Oh, they're just retreating. Okay, they just had a bunch of them get caught on the retreat.
yeah, I think the guys jumping back here were probably more to deal with like thugs or super combatants.
But yeah, killing 34 mages for free is very good.
Yes, it was very nice. Oh man, yeah, it was a lot. Oh my god, that's so many. Caves of Madness.
So he was trying to retreat them out of here, it looks like.
But why?
Yeah, I don't get that either. I would have, or maybe.
Oh. Dude, okay, so it was actually clever of Erythia because there was a magic phase attack by Gath, and that blocked normal movement into the fort. That means that if Gath moved on in the normal phase and Erythia moved in the normal phase, there would be a battle. And Erythia's like, hey, if there's a battle, because I get blocked, I'm going to lose the battle, which was probably true.
Oh, so you think that those guys were reinforcements and that
They
they
were
just...
reinforcements. They were guys coming from here.
Gotcha. Okay. So he was just trying to reinforce the throne and
Right.
got caught with his pants down.
And there wasn't an easy way. This was actually the best way for Erythia to get these guys in. Because if they, like, the other option Erythia could have had is said, hey, let's patrol to survive magic phase attacks. Well, you don't know what that's going to be. It could be 5 Sin Lesser Horror cast. It could be a greater horror. Could be a golem with the horror harmonica. Could be like a million things, right? And if you patrol with your whole army and like move and patrol, then if Gath moves everything here, then you're in real trouble because you're going to lose that whole army. Because Erythia also needed to gateway an army inside here.
Right. So this way he at least gets half of those mages inside.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
that's so risky. I mean, yeah. I mean,
he had to do it. He had to do this. I can't think of a single better move to do other than putting something here that would have beaten this. But like, how did you know what he was going to cast, you know?
Yeah. I think that given the stakes, it was probably worth doing a very significant patrol. But yeah, as you pointed out, there are enough different things that Gath could have brought, some of which just really are extremely hard to counter.
Yeah. But I think you're right. I think given the stakes, it would have made sense to invest in a bit more. But this does show at least both the players were thinking about this. Like both the players kind of understood the stakes involved here.
Yeah, he at least took some precautions. He didn't lose all of those mages because he had at least anticipated that this was a possibility.
Yeah, I've had like whole wars upset because I saw an opportunity to do this, which is where you magic phase a fort. You know they're going to be reinforcing, and likely because they think there won't be a battle, they're not even going to script the mages, and you just kill them all, and then that's going to be like dictate the whole course of the war.
One thing that where Erythia lucked out on though is that Merm, his god, didn't get tagged because that guy would have gone berserk, and then he would have lost the big Earthcaster.
That is true. Did he have any globals or anything? Probably not. But yeah, okay.
No, but he is just a an F4 E4 guy, so that's a very valuable mage to have.
He flirted with it too, just a couple prominent tiles away. Because yeah, if he got hit once, he would have had to try to kill this whole army, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, that would not have gone well.
Oh man, that's spicy.
The other scary thing is that he still doesn't even really know what Gath's full script is going to be, because a significant portion of the mage support is only moving in this turn.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so that was Caves of Madness. Then we had the two things that where Agartha's presumably selling these umbros to Pangea. Then we had a Ducado raiding. So this is one of the things you were saying they should do, which is low commitment raids, which is what he's doing.
Yeah. Elementals are fine for this. Just cover bulk provinces.
Erythia raiding with a Lich. Gath with the Tart. This is kind of interesting. We haven't really seen a ton of Tarts from Gath, I don't think. Oh. Phoenix Pyre?
It's late enough in the game that kind of everyone has them.
Yeah, these guys are very tough.
And one of the things that I like about this is that Gath basically had his big storm army here in order to pop the fort, and then he basically left the minimum that could like reliably storm it. Presumably he also left like a scout or something on top to keep it siege, and then moved his army off in order to continue pushing into Erythia.
Yeah. So this army he stormed, and this was a flying stack. So yeah, he moved this flying stack up here. This one, it doesn't look like... Oh, he pinged the inside. Yeah, and he's got it still popped by these guys. There's nothing inside. He's moved on top of this. Wait, what? How did that... Erythia attacked Gath, but was defeated.
I'm guessing he was just retreating? Yeah.
Before this guy could dissolve?
That's not a unit. That's a commander from his spell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The remote long dead summon thing that he had been using as a raiding tool.
Yeah. Oh, he moved. Wait, did he move off this? No. The army was here. Oh, he pinged this as well. He didn't go inside. So this is still pop. Presumably he's just going to take this turn.
I think part of that was just that he's moving armies around, right? Like a lot of these armies that are now on top of that fort hadn't been there in the past turn. So like he popped the fort with one thing, and then he moves the flyers on in order to like grab that throne, and then reinforces it with a new army, which now has the information of what's inside that fort as well.
Yeah. So interestingly, this Xibalba has moved on top of this TNC throne as well. So, we were saying, like, is TNC going to come over here and try to defend it? Looks like probably not. TNC is instead, they had a big army here, and they moved it south? Like they're angling at Pan, maybe? I would have thought they would have come over here and tried to take this from Erythia.
Yeah, I mean, on the other hand, we also know that TNC is mostly just looking for good fights at this point. So there's no real like political or like grand strategic motivation for where that army goes. It's just looking for a battle.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we've kind of clicked through everything. Let's take a look at the score graphs again here. We've got provinces, Gath ahead, but kind of stable.
Yeah, because Erythia actually did some counter raiding, and it turns out counter raiding is good. You want to do it, guys.
Forts, Pangaea still number one, but Gath some significant gains recently. Income, Pangaea cruising up even higher.
I'm guessing that's just Dominion spread.
Yeah, probably. Gym income, Gath in position 1, but really it's Pan and Erythia probably.
Xibalba's finishing up their research.
Oh, let's look at Dominion again. Dominion, Gath, and then Pan, and then Xibalba. Army size. Okay, Xibalba's sort of recovering.
Yeah, he had just lost so much patrol chaff from Gath's raiding of his blood economy. So one of the things that I guess is not going to be pictured here is that Xibalba just lost a ton of their blood hunting infrastructure, right? Like the patrollers and even like a bunch of actual mages. So it's going to take him a while in order to get his slave income back to where it was pre-war. Like I don't think it's even ever going to get there.
Well, yeah, and they can't sit around and focus that. They need to be gas attacking Erythia, presumably if they're on Gath's team. Like they have to try to out-eat Gath. There's a weightlifter. I can't remember his name, but he has a funny quote. If you want to be the man, you got to out-eat the man. And some truth to that when it comes to being a bodybuilder. But
yeah, I mean, I've heard that quote, but yeah.
Yeah.
Bulking is hard.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think that's it. I think you were suggesting this might be a short episode, and it looks like it.
Yeah, and I think that's largely just because like we shouldn't really have been expecting any big battles just based on the positions that folks had. The one, I guess, big thing that you have been talking about, because like what you've been saying is that the thing that we should be looking towards is the Diplo shift. But that also did happen kind of as you called it, where Pan did in fact end the nap.
Yeah. So I guess that's one thing we could just flash up here. So Pan's got a big army here that could come over and challenge the Gath presence this way. But it can't really deal with TNC.
I think
then
we've
got... Well, yeah, no, it could, but it can't do both.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. He's got a sign of a blood economy down here, but I don't see like huge piles of sages. Some here.
Well, those thralls are going to be useful just for siege chaff if he starts going after those Gath citadels.
Yeah. So he's got one pile here. Let's see what his army graph's doing. Okay, so this is the first turn with Gift of Nature's Bounty. It did kind of flex up a bit. I don't see...
Conventional troops?
Yeah, I thought with Gift of Nature's Bounty, he would be... maybe he split it with Erythia. Because I don't see huge amounts of sages.
I mean, the sages are only going to be produced one at a time.
Or not sages, I'm sorry, the cataphracts.
We see it.
There's a few here.
But yeah. He might just be resource gated.
You think?
Well, I mean, I guess if that were the case, we would see them in more different provinces. But you're right, he hasn't pushed the troop button.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on.
I think
Because
splitting some of it with Erythia
he doesn't have a
makes
lot of
sense.
turns. He's waiting for that nap 4 to tick down. He needs to be just holding that button down. But
I mean, we know that he loves the Sage armies, and we know that the Sage armies can work. So maybe he just like had enough gold to like that if he was like at income equals upkeep, that he just re-ups on his mages.
yeah. Strength of wielder not added. I wonder if these guys with like turn 1 weapons of sharpness cast on them would be any good.
So they actually really suck into Perpetual Storm.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because they
So,
have 2
so do
combat speed.
harpies. Yeah, I was thinking like if he's resource gated, maybe he does harpies because at some level you just need stuff to absorb hits while your mages kill stuff.
Yeah, he had been using harpies as a siege chaff, but they lost all their mobility from the storm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you probably want to do. I mean, you could do maybe these. They're kind of cool.
But again, storm, so the crossbow bolts, like half of them disappear.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know.
We kind of talked about this a very long time ago, back when I was suggesting that Pan actually used conventional units for armies, where like the basically the 2 that you look at are like Minotaur options and Cataphracts, with Cataphracts being the more efficient frontline unit, and Minotaurs being valuable just for their resistance to morale plays.
Yeah, and probably this late in the game. Well, these aren't berserkers actually.
The other guys are.
Yeah, but these are those cap only? Oh no, they're not. Okay.
No, yeah, they're any for it. They're just kind of expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he has to do these. I mean, you can afford it as Gift of Nature's Bounty Pan.
Yeah, offensively they're often weaker, but not always, than the Cataphracts, and defensively they're much, much worse. So really you are just paying the premium for Berserker.
Yeah, but I mean, as we saw in some of these battles, that can make all the difference.
Yeah, especially if he needs to worry about Blood Rain plus Wailing Winds, which like seems kind of a gimme for Gath at this point.
Yeah. 25 hit points versus 20. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're all going to get blown up by demons pretty well. But I mean, I guess with like demonic cleansing, these guys do hit for a lot.
Yeah, and demons are at least size 3, or with the Shadim, I think they're even size 4.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm worried there's no troops being made, and I feel like he should have made them this past turn. But I also don't see huge stacks of sages that, like, this could partially be just he's been losing a lot to TNG. He would really benefit from having another, 120 stack of sages.
True, yeah. I think that he thinks that he has some time to stack them up, though. Yeah. And like, given that they're not, they actually still have a decent mobility in terms of like getting to where they're needed. But you're right that we should be seeing these sage blobs. And for all that we'd kind of criticized him for lack of troops in the past before, or at least, I certainly did, he's proven that he can make these sage-only armies actually be really effective. So as long as he's like continuing to get a lot of value out of them and has enough of them that he can actually, hit Gath along a broad front and actually do a bunch of damage, I don't hate the fact now that he doesn't have this huge number of troops, just because, as long as he has enough sages, he can still make them work.
Yeah, yeah. So it's turn 92 right now?
Yes.
That means presumably the nap, we'll see maybe the first signs of this next war at maybe turn 95, turn 96, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think 95. Given that we received the message like with a bit of a delay, like it had to have already happened. I think that 95 is when we would see the first battles in that war.
Yeah. Something exciting, I guess, in the meantime, it's going to be mostly people beating up on Erythia, but then maybe Zabalba and Pan can get into it too. I'm not sure. But it looks like it's going to be 3 turns of Erythia getting pounded on. So,
yeah, hopefully Erythia actually manages to do something cool, because they are a nation that I like that has a bunch of resources, and their ally Pangea at least has a lot of experience with scripting these mage-heavy astral stacks. So he might be able to give Erythia some pointers for what he can do to actually, like, at the very least, deal damage to these huge storm demon armies.
Yeah, I hope he's got, like, I don't know, 800 troops with morale gear on the commander that are ready to gateway in here, because he's going to need it.
Yeah, or summon a pile of elementals and then do that plus gifts from heaven spam.
Yeah, maybe that works. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And as always, I really appreciate you joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for hosting.
All right. See you then. Cheers.